I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. We're sitting here this week right between Christmas and the New Year. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Hopefully, maybe you got some good celebrations coming up for New Year's. But what this also means is the year is ending, the year of 2024. It's ending. And here's the question. How was 2024 for you in your business and in your personal life? What were the challenges that arose? What came up this year? And what are you going to do next year to combat the challenges that come up? Because that's the thing about business, it's about life. We're constantly faced with challenges. When we look at it, we had a presidential election this year. We're going to have a whole new government under a different party in just a few short days. It's not going to be long at all before things are going to be changing, and we're going to move forth with a new administration, a new a new Congress, and things will more than likely change. But as a business, you've got to do something. You got to put together your goals for what you're going to accomplish in 2025. And to be honest with you, I don't like the word goals. I prefer using the word commitments. What are the commitments that you're going to have going into 2025? And have you spent any time working on this at this point? So, Cheryl, as I talk about this subject, what's your thoughts whenever we talk about goals and those type of things?
I'm like you. I like the words commitments. I'm not a huge fan of the New Year's resolution because it takes about 2 days to end that. But so people need to just figure out what it is they need, what they need to do, and stick with it. I mean, I'm the world's worst to backslide. I'm not sitting here telling anybody I'm perfect, but I have some new commitments for myself this year. And like you said, it's been a hard year in time. So I'm working at starting my new commitments. It's time in my life I've got to do it.
And as you look back, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are watching this that the people that were working for them at this point last year could be somewhat different this year. They could have people that have left their team. They could have new people that have joined their team. So are we putting together the plan that we need to be successful in 2025? When you look at your business, we kind of divided business into five different segments. And the segments are sales and marketing, operations, administration, leadership, and personal. That's where we divide and what we look at of a average business. It has five segments for success. And often what we see is people pay attention to the number one thing. I'm going to share something with you. I think that a majority of home service businesses today has as their leading point of view is sales. That's right, sales. Sales is everything. And they're looking at it from the standpoint, they're not paying as much attention to organization. They're not paying as much attention to building their leadership as they should. So Cheryl, this actually came from the Wheel of Life that you studied and have presented as part of your Ziegler certification. So what's your ideas when we talk about the Wheel of Success in business with these five different segments? And again, repeat them, it's sales and marketing, it's operations, it's administration, it's leadership, and it's also the personal side where you as the manager have a personal life and where you're not losing sight of the personal life. We just went through Christmas. Cheryl and I can probably both look back to many, many years ago when our Christmases were with our own kids getting up on Christmas morning. Christmas Eve, we put together the toys, but now that's changed. Now we're looking at our grandchildren, our children, and now we have grandchildren with significant others that have added to the total overall number that's here whenever we host Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners as we do. It's getting to be quite a crowd. So Cheryl, what's your thoughts on the wheel has to be round for you to be successful?
Well, as everyone knows, a round wheel rolls better. And without all these, the five being equal or close to equal, you're losing out in one part. A lot of people, the life work balance thing. If you overbalance and you take the point on the personal is sticking out a whole lot farther than the other four, you're missing one. You've got to have every one of them needs to be fairly equal. You need to work on all of them the same amount, because the thing is, without one or the others are going to falter, or at least not come across with their full potential. When all five of them are setting where they need to be, you can think, you have more clarity, you have more abilities to work on your business and on your personal, instead of working in your business and only on your personal. So I think it's a thing that people don't realize. There is a balance in life. And again, it balances the parts of what we try to look at, because when they're all balanced, they all work well together.
Yep. And so you'll know, I'm sharing a link right now in the comments section. So hopefully everyone can see this link coming out. And will take you to a worksheet that you can use to develop up a self-analysis of your business for 2024. And it will help you and assist in the goal setting you do for 2025. There's other things you need to be planning on doing in the coming year. One of them is, have you ever done a SWAT meeting? A SWAT meeting is where you take a break for a day and you go through and you involve all the people in the company, or at least your leadership team, and put together a SWOT. And the SWOT stands for the following. What are the strengths of the business? What's the strengths of your business? But the more importantly, we look at the weaknesses of the business. We look at the opportunities for the business, and we look at the threats the business is faced with or may be faced with in the future. What can debilitate you? How well prepared are you if these threats strike you? Such as, let's take an example. Are you in an area where natural gas and wood is being forsaken for the use of electricity? And how will this affect your business? When you look at it, the changing consumer. And again, if companies will look at those things of what the threats are to their business, then they can survive the threats. When you look at it, one of the companies I've always geared to look at here is Sears Roebuck. Because if Sears Roebuck had their eyes open some years ago, I honestly think that Sears would be Amazon today. And I think we know, just about every one of us, our front porches have become loading docks for Amazon products. And as an example, grocery deliveries. I know that Cheryl does not like to go to the grocery store. So when she needs groceries, hey, she orders them online and they're delivered to the house. Me, I love to go to the grocery store. Okay. Maybe I'm crazy, but I love, yeah, but doesn't bother at all to me to go get a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, or whatever. So I'm not a consumer that's going to buy e-commerce as much as Cheryl is. Okay. That's the way it is. So Cheryl, again, what's your thoughts on what we're talking about here, and your thoughts on this wheel of success in business? Because you work with me to develop this each and every year.
Let me drop back to one thing on the SWOT and also on this. It's not just enough to do these projects. You have to learn from them. You have to start implementing things. If you know everything that's wrong with your company and your life and you do nothing about it, you're going to wake up tomorrow with it being just the same. And that's a lot of the wheel where it comes in. When you find out what you're weak on, you want to start working on the things that needs to be handled the most. You need to bring them up. You don't want the other things to go down, whereas I find a lot of people make the biggest mistake. So they can work on this piece of the wheel, they forget that this one exists. So you need to have to keep them all concurrent in the mind. But if you let one go down, again, like I say, it will falter and you'll just have to pick it up again next year. So do you really want to be in this same spot next year, or do you want to be better? And to be better, you have to take the SWOT and you have to take the analysis and any other means that works for you. Learn what's wrong, learn what's right. It's nice to know what's right also, and put them together, because Ziegler preached on this a lot, and we had more than 5, but with this, these are the main ones. And if you can bring your business and your personal life up to the top levels, just imagine what next year can bring. I mean, it's going to be like Jerry said, it's going to be a new president. It's going to be a new Congress. Everything's different this year, but you are the same person. You have to change to work with it. And I watch so many people, they go to all the classes, they do the SWOT, they do the analysis, they do the questionnaires, they do all the other stuff, and they're really good for a couple weeks, and then it's put back in their back pocket. You come around to the next year, the same questions are exactly the same answers. So the main thing, that's what we're talking about today, is your commitment to go towards these things and improve them. Make next year better than this year, and the year after that better. We can't control what the government does. We can't control the economy. There's so many things we can't control, but you can control within your box. So that's what we suggest, is the commitment that it takes to make the things happen.
Yep, and that's it. And it has to be, again, I want to repeat that word commitment, because that's what you got to have. You've got to have commitment to what you're doing out there. You really, really do. So a while ago, there's that link. I hope that it goes out to everybody, but that is a self-analysis form. It's to assist you in analyzing your business for 2024. And then it goes into goal setting and asks you a lot of dedicated questions. I highly encourage you, spend some time with this form. And if you've never done a SWOT meeting in your company, reach out to me. I do quite a few of these. I did one just Monday of this week. I did one for a company, and it was amazing, because what we found out was we had fantastic systems that have been written for this company. This guy has been using artificial intelligence, putting systems together, and has done a fantastic job. But here's the problem. People were not following the systems. And as we looked at the waste and all the problems that came down, it all reverted back to that one solution, which is follow the system. So that's the question. That's a big one. How were your systems developed? And if they are developed, how good are you at following those, including you as the manager and the owner? And how good are you at holding accountability to these things? It's vastly important to do this. So go to this sheet, fill it out, see how you can make this work out for you, because we do this to help each and every one of you do the best you can to build things into what you're looking to do. So the link is there. It looks like it went up on every page that we're broadcasting on. So click on the link. There's no charge, no obligation whatsoever. But again, as we enter into 2025, remember what we do here at CVC Success Group. We help people just like you filter through the challenges that they face. Cheryl's working every day with that biggest problem everybody seems to have, which is the hiring. What's the hiring situation like these days, Cheryl?
Right now, it's getting a little bit better, because there's a lot of people laying off, and that's what people need to understand out there. There's certain times of the year that there are layoffs. So if you're not very important to the company, it's going to happen. But the thing is, the quality's not there like it used to be. And the getting people to come to the interviews is the huge thing. So and then the people don't want to learn. And I found some good ones this week. It's kind of hard to comment. This is probably one of the best weeks I've had with the number of people that I've interviewed. And it's just Friday.
And that's fantastic. So there's your thoughts. Give you a preview of next week. One of the things that's come up really heavy in the last year or two is rebranding your company. We interviewed a guy by the name of Dan Antonelli a while back who runs a company called Kick Charge. And Dan has done a lot of rebranding. So we're going to be interviewing two companies that have embarked on rebranding next Friday. Two that are going through this process right now. We're going to find out what the challenges are of rebranding, what all's involved, and what drove these two business owners to make a decision that it was time to rebrand their companies. Because rebranding is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially if you're changing the company name. And that's what both of these companies did. So be sure and tune us in next Friday as we interview two business owners who have rebranded their companies this year. They're going to talk about the challenges of doing this and what comes up. It may be a very interesting show if rebranding is in your plans. So, Cheryl, anything else you want to add to this week's episode?
I just want to tell everybody that's listening or ask them, where do you want to be in 365 days from now? And I would suggest everybody put a post-it note up where they see that every day, write it on the bathroom mirror in lipstick, or actually one of the places I love to put stuff like that's on my screen when it comes up. So that's, you can only control where you're going to be in 365 days.
Right. So, again, the message today is take a hard look at 2024. What areas were you great in? What areas are you average in? What areas were you poor in? And what areas did possibly you even suck at? Work today and the next week to put together what your commitments will be to make things change in the coming year of 2025. And with that, we want to thank you for spending a few brief moments with us today. We're cutting the time back on these. We're not being up as long as we used to because, hey, sometimes it was just too long. So our messages are getting shorter. And we hope that this has been a time of value to you and it is what it can help you maneuver the business that you have to the business that you dream of. So see you next week. This is Cheryl Eisenhower, coming from CVC Success Group. We're here. We'd love to hear from you. If we can help you take your business to the one you dream of, it's as simple as setting up a phone call with conversation, and let's make it happen. Talk to you later. Have a fantastic new year, folks. We appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you next week.